ACG Metals, as we are today, already generating a very significant cash flows. And if I look at our market cap, we effectively trading at probably 14 months of our free cash flow. So it's a very exciting story.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by ACG Metals Chairman and CEO Artem Volynets, as well as CFO Patrick Henze. Patrick, very good to speak with you this morning. So you were up your first quarter update as well as your full year 2024 results, Artem, and it looks like the road that you've traveled over the past year has really set you up very strongly for the first quarter. Can you take us through some of the highlights?
Thank you so much, Stephen, and it's good to be back here. Essentially, ACG Metals is a new company that's been in existence from the beginning of September last year, when we completed the acquisition of our first operating assets. And has been a transformational journey, which has shown the excellence of our team in all areas. We have spent the 4 months of the last year and the 3 months of the beginning of this year on building essentially the base business case. In doing so, we demonstrated that we can do very well M&A. We have completed the acquisition of Gediktepe, a producing mine in Turkey that generated $76 million in EBITDA last year. We demonstrated our ability to do financing. We raised $200 million in bonds. We have shown that we can do proactive management of our capital structure, taking out 70% of the warrants. We have shown that we can run the business well to continue to generate those very high cash flows. The first quarter, where Patrick will talk about the numbers, but the key highlights is our ability to manage and even reduce the costs. C1 costs down in the first quarter by 37%. All-in sustaining costs are down by 13%. I challenge you to find any other mining company that managed to reduce costs so much, especially in a high inflation environment, as we know in Turkey. We have done really well on ESG front, continue our incident-free stake at the mine. And we have shown that we can build things on time and on budget, with our sulfide project construction proceeding on time and on budget. Obviously, all of these achievements are only possible if you have an excellent team, and we have put a very good team together across all levels. Just to give you 2 examples, at the project level, we have Graham Ripley, who is building this project. He has built 12 of those globally, all of them on time and on budget, and that's what we expect is Gediktepe sulfide project as well, commissioning in the beginning of next year. And we also brought Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State of United States, to join us at the board. Just the 2 examples, but the rest of the team is equally excellent.
Well, Patrick, let's bring you in here. Take us through some of the specifics of the quarter and how last year has positioned you for the very strong performance.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen, and thanks for having us here. I think the key one is that we, since the acquisition, and Artem and I have gone through a journey, to get to the acquisition, and it was an acquisition at very strong multiples, but also with a strong partner joining us, and obviously a very strong team on site that we also inherited from the previous owners. But you're right, and I think the key thing for last year was that we said we're going to produce roughly, or we're going to sell 55,000 ounces. We actually delivered 57, but on top of this, the team was able to find additional ore in the lower parts of the pit in order to stockpile sufficient ore in front of the plant. And that actually led to the Q1 results that are significantly better than expected. So when we look at the current status of the operation, we have, as Artem mentioned, a pretty strong safety record. There was no LTI at the site since it started operating. At the moment, we have 724 LTI-free days, which is a very strong result, and I think the best in Turkey. We have this quarter had 16,000 ounces of equivalent sales, when we did the bond presentation in November, December, we kind of guided towards 33,000 ounces of sales in the year. We already achieved roughly half of that. And reminding people, given we are looking right now at 3,300 to 3,500 gold price, but in Q1 we had like an average of 2,800. So that, obviously gives us comfort that Q2 we see better prices, and that's going to help us in Q2 as well. The AISC, as Artem said, given the inflationary environment, we are really proud that we could keep that cost discipline. And again, a big thanks to our team on site. The whole team at Gediktepe did an amazing job. They all see the long picture for the company, that we actually need to be disciplined in order to have this transition to the copper phase done in a very, very smooth way. So that's a really big achievement, which we are pretty proud of, actually. Maybe the last point on the operations, just sorry for that. If we look at the sulfide expansion project, we are still really much on track to go for Q1 2026 commissioning, and that's also a big milestone for us, obviously, and we are seeing this currently on time and on budget.
Artem and Patrick talked about the long picture. Could you take us through that long picture and how you expect to achieve that?
We set up ACG Metals as a vehicle to consolidate the copper sector globally, but importantly is to look at the practical steps of achieving some very tangible milestones in our journey. And in that sense, operations at Gediktepe and building of the sulfide project is a good example of what we can do. We already operating at 73% operating margin, probably with today gold prices. Patrick would correct me that this is much higher today, but our ability to keep the costs down means continuous very strong cash flow generation and robust financial soundness of the company. We have significant cash on the balance sheet from the bond proceeds. We're building on time and on budget. And we plan to commission, as Patrick said, our sulfide project in the beginning of next year to produce approximately 25,000 tons of copper equivalent for the following number of years. And that is perhaps the most important part as we see it today. Yes, there will be other M&A that will come on top of that, but I'd like everyone to understand that ACG Metals, as we are today, already generating a very significant cash flows. And if I look at our market cap, we effectively trading at probably 14 months of our free cash flow. So it's a very exciting story, and it's a good indication of what we can do with the mining businesses globally.
Gents, I hope you'll keep us posted on any progress. Thank you very much for the update today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. Bye-bye.
ACG Metals Chairman and CEO Artem Volynets and CFO Patrick Henze.